A jaw-dropping twist has sent shockwaves through the Roloff world. Amy Roloff has reportedly kicked Chris Marek out after what's being described as a shocking betrayal. The news has fans stunned, the rumor mill spinning, and the little people, big world community in absolute chaos. Was this the moment their marriage finally cracked? Could this be the scandal that reshapes their Roloff legacy forever? In today's deep dive, we'll unpack every layer of this alleged fallout, from the betrayal that may have shattered Amy and Chris's once solid relationship, to the emotional aftermath and behind-the-scenes tension building over time. We'll examine the whispers of dishonesty, the rumored explosive confrontations, and the growing speculation about what really happened between them. And of course, we'll explore how fans, friends, and even fellow LPBW cast members are reacting to the drama that has everyone talking. Amy Roloff and Chris Marek's love story began in a way that seemed almost too perfect for reality TV. After her very public divorce from Matt Roloff, Amy met Chris, a real estate agent who, at first, didn't seem like the type to step into the TLC spotlight. Their courtship was marked by sweet date nights, adventurous motorcycle rides, and a steady building of trust. In September 2019, Chris proposed, and fans watched Amy's emotional yes as one of the more heartfelt moments in Little People, Big World history. Their wedding in August 2021 was a grand affair, not on a random venue lawn, but right there on Roloff Farms, Amy's former home base with Matt. It was a symbolic moment, Amy starting her new chapter in the very place that had defined her past. Chris stood beside her beaming, vowing to be her partner in all things. From there, the two settled into what they described as post-farm life, balancing Amy's baking ventures, speaking events, and filming commitments with Chris's work and their shared love of travel. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. But even from the early days, LPBW fans were divided about Chris. Some embraced him as a breath of fresh air for Amy, someone supportive, kind, and willing to make the blended family dynamics work. Others were skeptical, sensing that his easygoing charm on camera sometimes masked discomfort or tension in more private moments. Online fan groups often debated his intentions, and certain episodes, where Chris appeared uneasy about farm drama or hesitant in planning big decisions, only added fuel to those discussions. As the seasons rolled on, viewers began to pick up on moments that hinted at strain. It wasn't always obvious, but in between the laughter and cooking segments were awkward exchanges. A disagreement over a vacation plan, a curt response during a group scene, even subtle body language, Chris standing apart during family photos, or Amy glancing away when Chris spoke, began to stand out to longtime fans who knew how to read the small signals. By late 2023, the changes were impossible to ignore for those paying attention. On social media, Amy's feed was filled with solo shots or group gatherings where Chris was notably absent. When the couple did appear together, captions were short and oddly formal, missing the warmth of earlier posts. Fans began asking in comments, "Where's Chris?" or "Hope everything's okay," but the questions often went unanswered. It's here that insiders say the turning point happened. According to sources close to the couple, a quiet shift began in their daily life, one that Amy tried to downplay publicly. Chris was reportedly spending more time away from home, citing work or personal projects. Amy threw herself into events, charity work, and spending time with her kids and grandkids. But the distance between them, both physical and emotional, was widening. The real shock came when whispers of a betrayal started circulating in the fan community. No one knew exactly what it was at first, whether it was financial, emotional, or something more personal, but the mere hint of it was enough to ignite speculation. The fact that Amy and Chris had always been relatively transparent about their lives made the sudden secrecy all the more suspicious. And then came the moment that set the rumor mill ablaze, a series of cryptic posts from Amy, including one with a caption, "Sometimes the hardest part isn't letting go, it's realizing you have to." There was no direct mention of Chris, but the timing, paired with his prolonged absence from her online presence, was enough to convince many fans that something serious had happened. For viewers who had followed their journey from engagement bliss to post-farm adventures, The idea of betrayal blindsided them. This wasn't just a private couple having a rough patch. It was a beloved LPBW storyline unraveling in real time, catching everyone from casual fans to diehard supporters completely off guard. What began as whispers among a few close acquaintances quickly grew into a storm that Amy Roloff could no longer ignore. The betrayal, as fans have been calling it, allegedly revolved around a series of financial and personal decisions that Chris Marek made without Amy's knowledge. These included what some sources describe as undisclosed business dealings, investments, potential property flips, and side arrangements with individuals outside of their shared circle. To some, these were minor oversights. To Amy, they were breaches of trust that chipped away at the foundation of their marriage. The first hints came when Amy reportedly noticed inconsistencies in shared bank records and invoices for services she had never approved. At first, she is said to have chalked it up to simple miscommunication, but as the weeks went on, the paper trail grew longer and the explanations grew thinner. One insider claims Amy even discovered that Chris had been discussing potential new ventures with mutual acquaintances without mentioning them to her at all. The timeline unfolded like something out of a slow-burning drama. Early signs, a few unexplained absences, and phone calls Amy couldn't quite place. The growing suspicion, friends began quietly asking Amy if she knew about certain plans Chris had in motion. The confrontation, the breaking point reportedly came one evening when Amy directly challenged Chris about what she had learned. When word of Chris's alleged secret dealings surfaced, Amy reportedly confronted him head-on. According to those familiar with the situation, the conversation was anything but civil. Voices were raised, accusations flew, and the air in the Roloff household became thick with tension. Chris, caught between explaining his actions and defending his intentions, found himself with fewer and fewer sympathetic ears. Amy's response was swift and resolute. Friends say that after years of building a home together, she made the difficult decision to ask Chris to leave. This wasn't a temporary cooling-off period, at least not in her mind at the time. To her, the trust had been fractured beyond repair. The fallout rippled through their family and social circles. Amy's children reportedly had mixed reactions, some taking her side completely, others urging her to hear Chris out. Even within the extended Roloff network, there was division. A few members quietly supported Amy's decision, while others tried to stay neutral to avoid further strain. Online, the fan theories spread like wildfire. Some believed the betrayal was entirely financial, pointing to rumors about a failed side project that drained more money than Chris admitted. Others speculated it was less about dollars and more about personal trust issues, perhaps linked to who Chris had been spending time with outside of Amy's view. Social media threads dissected every past episode of Little People, Big World, combing through footage for red flags they claimed had been there all along. Regardless of which version fans believed, one fact became impossible to ignore. Amy and Chris's picture-perfect post-farm life had been shaken to its core, and the cameras, as always, were there to capture the aftermath. In the days that followed, Chris seemed to retreat into silence. No public statements, no official interviews, and not even the casual photos that once peppered his social media. For someone who had previously embraced the spotlight alongside Amy, the sudden absence spoke volumes. A few eagle-eyed fans noticed he had quietly turned off comments on some of his past posts, perhaps to avoid the flood of speculation and judgment that had taken over LPBW fan forums. Amy, on the other hand, channeled her energy into staying active. She threw herself into her commitments, charity events, cooking segments, and community gatherings, always smiling for the cameras, though those closest to her claimed there was a heaviness behind the grin. Her Instagram stories shifted toward motivational quotes and snapshots of time spent with her children and grandkids. Many followers saw it as a quiet declaration that she was moving forward, even if the hurt lingered. The possible impact on Little People, Big World was impossible to ignore. Producers had long thrived on real-life tensions to drive the show's narrative, but this situation could change everything. Would Amy and Chris's on-screen chemistry vanish? Could Chris even remain part of the filming schedule? Fans debated whether the show might pivot toward Amy's solo journey, or whether TLC would lean into the drama, making this rift a central plotline. Then came the subtle and not-so-subtle reactions from other Roloff family members. Matt Roloff kept his public comments to a minimum, but a cryptic post about loyalty and trust sent the rumor mill into overdrive. Karen Chandler, ever cautious, stuck to lighthearted content, posting photos from the farm and family dinners without directly addressing the situation. Zach and Tori stayed silent, while Jeremy and Audrey's absence from the conversation only fueled fan theories about where their loyalties lay. The road ahead was uncertain. Could there be a reconciliation behind closed doors? Would lawyers become involved if the split grew more contentious? Or was Amy already determined to close this chapter for good? Whatever the outcome, the fallout had already reshaped relationships within the Roloff circle, and fans knew the effects would ripple for months, if not years, to come. The alleged betrayal between Amy Roloff and Chris Marek has sent ripples far beyond their own marriage, impacting the entire Roloff family dynamic and the passionate fan community that has followed their journey for years. The tension, the unanswered questions, and the speculation have created a storyline as gripping as anything seen on Little People, Big World. Whether this chapter ends in heartfelt reconciliation, a permanent and painful split, or an entirely unforeseen twist, one truth stands above all. The Roloff family saga is far from reaching its final act. Emotions are raw, trust has been tested, and the path forward is uncertain. For now, the only certainty is that fans everywhere will continue to watch, dissect, and debate every development. In the coming weeks, the Roloffs will either write a story of healing and redemption, or close the book on one of the most public relationships in reality TV history. Either way, all eyes will remain locked on this unfolding drama. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.